They left me to die on that mountain. My husband made sure of it. Every rescue team denied. Every helicopter grounded. All because I knew too much. But one pilot, one stranger, looked into my desperate eyes through that radio static and said 3 words that changed everything. I'm coming anyway. If you've ever felt abandoned by the people you trusted most, stay with me. This story will hit different. And if it does, hit that like button and subscribe. Because karma has a way of coming full circle. My name is Delphine. I'm 29 years old, and up until 3 weeks ago, I thought I had it all figured out. You know that feeling when everything just clicks into place? When your life looks exactly like the vision board you made 5 years ago? That was me. Successful career in pharmaceutical sales, corner office with a view, bonuses that made my parents proud. And Caspian. God. Caspian was supposed to be my forever. 4 years of marriage to a corporate lawyer who knew exactly what to say, exactly when to say it. He had this way of making me feel like I was the only person in the room, even when we were surrounded by hundreds of people. We had the kind of love story people write romance novels about. Or at least, that's what I told myself every single day. And then there was Rhiannon, my best friend since college, my maid of honor, the person I called when I needed to laugh until my stomach hurt. We worked at the same company, grabbed lunch together every Tuesday, shared everything. She knew my coffee order better than I did. She was family, the sister I never had. I trusted her with my life. Funny how those words taste like poison now. 3 weeks ago, my company planned this retreat in the Colorado Rockies. One of those team-building things where executives pretend to care about nature while networking over expensive whiskey. It was also our anniversary weekend, 4 years with Caspian. He was invited to the corporate dinner, and I thought it would be perfect. Celebrate our marriage, advance my career, all in one beautiful mountain setting. The night before the hiking trip, Caspian pulled me close in our hotel room and whispered, "You should go on that advanced trail tomorrow. Just you, clear your head. You've been so stressed lately." His hands were gentle on my shoulders, his voice so caring. "I'll handle the networking dinner. You take the morning for yourself. You deserve it, babe." I remember kissing him, feeling so grateful, so loved. What kind of husband encourages his wife to take time for herself, right? What kind of man puts her needs first? The kind who wants her gone. But I didn't know that then. I didn't know that while I was packing my hiking gear, he was making phone calls, filing reports, laying groundwork. I didn't know that Rhiannon was in his contacts under a different name. I didn't know that my life insurance policy had been revised 2 months earlier, doubled, with him as the sole beneficiary. I didn't know that the woman I called my best friend had been sleeping in my bed every time I traveled for work. I didn't know that when I laced up my hiking boots that morning, smiled at the sunrise, and texted them both, "Love you guys," I was walking into a trap designed to look like an accident. All I knew was that the mountain air smelled like pine and freedom, and I felt lucky. So incredibly lucky. That feeling lasted exactly 47 minutes. Then the rockslide hit, and my perfect life crumbled faster than the ground beneath my feet. Pain is a funny thing. When it's bad enough, it doesn't feel like pain anymore. It feels like your entire existence has been reduced to one singular, screaming fact. Something is very, very wrong. I don't remember the sound of the rock slide. I remember the silence after. The way the world just stopped making noise for a few seconds, like even nature was holding its breath. Then my legs started sending signals to my brain that shouldn't be possible, and I realized I was 40 feet down in a ravine, wedged between rocks, with my shoulder doing something shoulders definitely aren't supposed to do. My phone was still in my jacket pocket. Cracked screen, but it worked. 12% battery. I called Caspian first because that's what you do when your world is ending, right? You call the person who promised to love you through everything. He answered on the third ring. "Hey babe, how's the hike?" "Caspian, I fell. I'm hurt bad. I need help. My voice cracked. "I think my leg is broken and I can't move and—" Okay, calm down." His voice was so steady, so controlled. "Where are you exactly?" I told him. The trail name, the marker I'd passed, everything I could remember. My hands were shaking so hard I could barely hold the phone. "Don't call anyone else," he said, and something in his tone made my blood run colder than the temperature already dropping around me. "I'll handle it. Let me make the calls. You just stay calm and stay on the line with me." But he didn't stay on the line. He said he'd call right back, and then, nothing. 10 minutes passed. 15. The pain was getting worse, and panic was setting in. I called 911 with trembling fingers. The dispatcher answered, and I started explaining. Location, injuries, everything. She cut me off halfway through. "Ma'am, we've already received a call about you. You're reported as a false alarm. The caller indicated you have a history of mental health issues and making prank emergency calls." I couldn't breathe. "What? No, that's not. I'm actually hurt. I'm bleeding. Please." "Ma'am, we take false reports very seriously. If you continue to call, you could face criminal charges." She hung up. I stared at my phone like it had betrayed me. Nothing made sense. I called the resort emergency line. Same thing. They'd been told I was fine. Already checked back into my room, probably intoxicated. Mountain Rescue Dispatch said all units were tied up on another emergency, and air support was unavailable due to weather conditions. But the sky above me was perfectly clear. My hands were shaking as I scrolled to Rhiannon's number. My best friend. She'd help me. She'd know something was wrong. I called twice. Straight to voicemail both times. And that's when I heard it. Her voicemail greeting had changed. In the background of her recorded message, I could hear a man's voice. Laughing. Saying something too quiet to make out. But I knew that laugh. I knew it like I knew my own heartbeat. Caspian. My brain started pulling up memories I'd buried, dismissed, explained away. Late nights he said were work, but his collar smelled like perfume that wasn't mine. Rhiannon's new Cartier bracelet she said was from a guy she was seeing, but wouldn't tell me about. Our wedding photos, where her hand lingered too long on his shoulder. Last week, walking past his office and hearing him on the phone. After this weekend, everything changes, just a few more days. The pieces weren't just falling into place, they were crashing down like the rockslide that broke my body. He didn't want me rescued. He wanted me dead. And Rhiannon, my best friend, my sister, she was in on it. The cold wasn't just from the temperature anymore. It was coming from inside me, spreading through my veins like ice water. They'd planned this. Together. While I was picking out anniversary gifts, they were planning my funeral. I screamed into that ravine until my throat was raw. Not from pain, from rage. There's a special kind of clarity that comes when you realize the person you loved most in this world has been planning your death. Everything becomes sharp, focused. The pain in my leg didn't matter anymore. The cold didn't matter. All that mattered was staying alive long enough to make them pay. I found the emergency radio in my hiking pack, one of those things you bring and never think you'll actually need. My fingers were numb, but I managed to turn it on, scanning through frequencies until I found an open channel. My voice came out desperate, broken, exactly what it was. "This is Delphine Ashford. I'm trapped in a ravine off the Copper Ridge Trail. I've called for help, and every single agency has denied me rescue. My husband—" I had to stop, swallow the rage burning my throat. "My husband has filed false reports saying I'm mentally unstable. He wants me to die out here. Someone please. Anyone. I'm bleeding and it's getting dark, and I'm telling you, this is murder." Static. Then a voice, official and cold. "This is an unauthorized transmission. Cease immediately or face federal penalties." I didn't cease. I kept talking, kept broadcasting, pouring every detail out into the void. How Caspian was a corporate lawyer with connections. How the resort owner was his client. How he'd filed a fraudulent insurance claim, painting me as a drunk, suicidal liability. How my best friend was his mistress, and they'd been planning this for God knows how long. Then I heard something that made my blood freeze. A dispatch conversation bleeding through the frequency. Voices that didn't realize I could hear them. "Yeah, the lawyer husband filed everything properly. She's got a history of instability according to his documentation. Life insurance payout is substantial, 2.4 million. And the girlfriend? Works at the same company. Apparently, the wife discovered some embezzlement scheme last month. Both of them had motive to make her disappear. Smart. Make it look like a hiking accident. No investigation. Clean. They were talking about my murder like it was a business transaction. Like I was a problem to be solved, not a person. Not someone's daughter, someone's employee, someone who mattered. The sun was setting now, and with it went any warmth left in the air. I could feel hypothermia starting to set in. The shivering, the confusion, the weird drowsiness that makes you want to just close your eyes and sleep. I knew what that meant. Sleep was death. I thought about Caspian and Rhiannon back at that resort, probably having dinner together. Maybe they were holding hands under the table. Maybe they were toasting to their future. My insurance money, my company shares. My life that they'd built together on top of my corpse. The image made me so angry I could taste metal. If I died here, they won. They got everything. Each other, my money, their perfect little life built on my grave. I grabbed that radio one more time, and I didn't beg. I didn't plead. I just stated facts in a voice that sounded nothing like me. Cold, detached, furious. This is Delphine Ashford. My husband Caspian Ashford and my former best friend Rhiannon Vale are attempting to murder me. I'm at coordinates. I read them off my phone's GPS. I have discovered evidence of embezzlement and fraud. They want me dead before I can report it. If my body is found here, it wasn't an accident. It was premeditated murder. And if anyone is listening to this, if anyone out there gives a damn about justice, my voice broke, just once. Please don't let them get away with this. Static silence, the kind that feels like the universe shrugging. Then, cutting through the void, a voice. Rough, determined, almost angry. This is November 7-4 Tango Charlie. I hear you. Stay alive. I'm coming. Dispatch immediately. N74TC. You are ordered to stand down. No flight authorization. Repeat, stand down. The voice came back, and I could hear the smile in it. The defiance. Negative dispatch. I've got a woman dying on that mountain. I didn't serve 8 years in search and rescue to follow orders that kill people. I'm wheels up in 5. Try to stop me. I started crying. Not from pain or fear this time, from hope. His name was Booker. I learned that when his helicopter appeared over the ridge, like something out of a fever dream, spotlights cutting through the darkness. He rappelled down to where I was wedged between those rocks, and the first thing he said was, I lost my sister this way 5 years ago. Nobody came for her. I'm not making that mistake twice. He worked fast, splinting my leg, wrapping my shoulder, getting me warm. But the whole time, he was recording. Every injury, every word I said. His helicopter had cameras, he explained, voice tight with controlled anger. He was documenting everything because he knew exactly what kind of legal hell he was about to walk into. During the flight to the hospital, I told him everything. He didn't interrupt, didn't question, just listened with this expression that said he'd seen evil before and wasn't surprised by it anymore. When I finished, he looked at me with these steady gray eyes and said, Your husband filed a flight restriction. Told the FAA you were mentally unstable and might try to hijack aircraft. That's why every pilot was grounded. He thought of everything. Almost everything. He didn't think someone would risk their career, their license, their entire livelihood to save a stranger. Booker took me to a hospital 2 towns over, not the local one where Caspian had connections. Smart man. While they were pumping me full of painkillers and setting my leg, I made calls. My personal lawyer, not anyone from Caspian's firm. My company's CEO, who answered on a Saturday because I told his assistant it was about embezzlement, and a local news producer who I'd met at a charity event last year. The victim everyone thought was dead? She was very much alive, and she was coming for blood. Rhiannon showed up at the hospital first. Of course she did. She had to play the concerned best friend, had to see with her own eyes that their plan had failed. She walked into my room with tears in her eyes, arms outstretched for a hug, saying, Oh my God, Delphine, we were so worried. I slapped her so hard my palm stung. The sound echoed in that sterile room like a gunshot. Her hand flew to her cheek, eyes wide with shock. And for a moment, we just stared at each other. Then I smiled. Not a friendly smile. A wolf's smile. Did you really think I'd die quietly? She tried to stammer something, some excuse, but I was already talking. Already destroying her. You've been sleeping with my husband for 18 months. Every Tuesday when we had lunch? He was texting you under the table. Every girl's night when you said you were dating someone new? It was him. That Cartier bracelet? He bought it with our joint account. I checked. Her face went white. Delphine, I can explain. Explain what? That you helped him plan my murder? That you were going to comfort him at my funeral and then move into my house? She found her voice then. And God, the venom in it. He loves me. He never loved you. You were just a trophy wife with a good job. He said you were cold, controlling, that you made him miserable. I laughed. Actually laughed. And you believed him? You think a man who'd murder his wife for money is capable of love? I pulled out my phone, showed her the documents my lawyer had already sent over. Bank statements. The embezzlement scheme I discovered last month. $50,000 siphoned from company accounts into an offshore account. Her offshore account. Caspian knew I found this. That's why I had to disappear before I could report it. But here's the beautiful part, Rhiannon. He kept copies. Insurance, in case you ever became a liability. He was setting you up too. You're not his partner, you're his fall guy. I watched her world crumble in real time. It was satisfying in a way that scared me a little. Caspian arrived an hour later, all charm and concern, playing the devoted husband perfectly. He walked in with flowers, worry etched into his handsome face. Thank God you're okay. When they said you'd been rescued, I held up my hand. Booker pressed play on the recording. My voice filled the room. Every word I'd said in that ravine. Every detail of their plan. Every piece of evidence. Caspian's mask didn't just slip. It shattered. You tried to kill me, I said, my voice eerily calm. You bribed officials, filed false reports, grounded every rescue operation. All for what? 2.4 million in insurance money? My company shares? He didn't deny it. That's what chilled me most. He just looked at me with these cold, dead eyes and said, You were supposed to disappear. No one would have questioned it. People die on mountains all the time. Except the pilot you didn't account for. His jaw clenched. For the first time, I saw real emotion on his face. Rage. Not at what he'd done, but at getting caught. You'll never prove any of this, he said. I smiled. The police outside your door would disagree. His head whipped toward the hallway, where two officers were indeed waiting. I'd called them the moment he entered the building. Watching him get handcuffed was better than any therapy session could ever be. They say karma takes time, sometimes years. But when it comes like an avalanche. Unstoppable, merciless, burying everything in its path. Caspian was arrested that night for attempted murder, insurance fraud, filing false police reports, and conspiracy. His law license, suspended indefinitely. The resort owner he represented turned on him faster than you can say plea deal, providing evidence of every bribe, every call, every manipulation. Turns out loyalty means nothing when federal charges are on the table. Rhiannon got hers too. Fired from the company within 48 hours, once the embezzlement evidence went public. But the beautiful irony? The truly poetic justice? Caspian had kept detailed records of her crimes. Every transaction, every forged signature, everything she'd done, documented and saved. Just like I told her. She wasn't his partner. She was his insurance policy. Another person to blame if things went wrong. She was charged as an accessory to attempted murder. Last I heard, she took a plea deal and testified against him to reduce her sentence. So much for true love, right? But here's the part that still makes me smile. That fraudulent insurance claim Caspian filed in my name, the one painting me as mentally unstable and suicidal, Since I didn't die, since it was proven false, the insurance company paid me out anyway for emotional distress, defamation, and the trauma of having my own husband try to murder me. $2.4 million. I used a chunk of it to sue him in civil court for everything he had left: the house, the cars, his retirement accounts, everything. The money he'd wanted so badly, I took it all, every single cent. Karma doesn't just knock on your door. Sometimes it kicks it down and takes everything you love. Booker faced consequences too, initially. Suspended for that unauthorized flight, license under review, the whole bureaucratic nightmare. But then I went public with the story. Every news outlet from local stations to national networks wanted to hear about the pilot who defied orders to save a woman being murdered by her husband. He became a hero overnight. The public outcry was deafening. Petitions with hundreds of thousands of signatures demanding his license be restored. Within 2 weeks, not only was he flying again, but he received a commendation for valor and was offered a position with a major search and rescue organization. We stayed friends. Not romantic. I think we both needed something real and uncomplicated after all that darkness. But deep. The kind of friendship forged in fire and trust and defiance. He saved my life. I helped save his career. We're even. 6 months later, I'm living in a new apartment with a view of the mountain. Different mountains, better memories. I got promoted at work after the company cleaned house and realized I'd been the only one honest enough to report the embezzlement. I volunteer now with helicopter rescue organizations, teaching them about domestic violence disguised as accidents, about how abusers manipulate systems. I give talks. I tell my story. I show people that survival isn't just about living. It's about refusing to let the people who tried to destroy you define who you become. Caspian is serving 15 years. Rhiannon got 7. And me? I'm free in ways I never was, even before that mountain. They say when someone shows you who they really are, believe them. But here's what they don't tell you. When the world tells you to give up, when every door is closed and every voice says no, sometimes one person saying yes is all you need. One unauthorized act of defiance. One stranger who chooses humanity over rules. Caspian and Rhiannon thought the mountain would bury their secrets. Instead, it exposed them. Because karma doesn't need permission, it just needs time. The people who tried to erase me are now erased from everything they wanted. The man who risked everything to save me didn't just save my life. He saved my faith that good people still exist in this world, even when it feels like they don't. Trust is earned. Betrayal is a choice. And survival? Survival is the best revenge. But the sweetest revenge isn't destruction. It's becoming so unbreakable that the people who tried to shatter you can't even recognize you anymore. It's living so well, so fully, so unapologetically, that your existence becomes proof of their failure. I'm not the same woman who went hiking that morning. That woman trusted too easily, loved too blindly, missed too many signs. This woman? She sees everything clearly now, and she's never going to be anyone's victim ever again. If this story moved you, if you've ever been betrayed and survived it, hit that like button. Share this with someone who needs to hear that they're stronger than whoever tried to break them. Subscribe, because I've got more stories about people who refused to stay down when life knocked them to their knees. And remember this: you are not what happened to you. You are what you choose to become after. Stay strong, stay defiant, and never ever let them win.